Um, so we're going to just dive right into this presentation on tonight. And we thank God for our pastor, for his leadership, and for allowing me the opportunity to present this. As many of you know, that research is one of the things that I love to do, finding out information and passing it on to others. And that's what I've done through this presentation. So know before you vote. It's so important to know before you vote. Hosea 4:6 says, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God, I will also forget thy children." So basically, we are destroyed sometimes because of a lack of knowledge, because we just simply don't know certain things. So we want to make sure that we get the knowledge out there to the people. So the purpose, I want to make sure that we understand the purpose of this presentation. This session is not designed to tell you who to vote for. The church, we don't do that, nor what initiative to vote for. We're simply here to relay information so that you can make an informed decision on who to vote for and what initiatives to vote for or against. So that's the purpose of this whole session, to put some tools in your toolbox, for instance, and we'll be giving you some websites and things that you can go to and look at. So voting experience. This will be Jada's first year of voting. So I can remember my first year of voting. It was exciting to be of age where I could vote. But let me ask you this, and on Zoom, you can raise your hand, and if you are on Facebook, you can just comment yes or no. Have you ever went to the poll to vote uninformed? Okay, I see hands being raised. So on Facebook, you can let us know if you've ever been to the poll to vote uninformed, not knowing much about the candidates or the initiatives on the ballot. If that's you, you can raise your hand. I've sometimes we may go because there's a certain initiative that we want to vote for, or a certain election, a certain person that we're voting for. So then we go to the poll, but then when we get there and look at our ballot, there's a whole list of people and we have no idea. And how many of you just found yourself just making a selection? Just choosing and making a selection. Ouch, I've done that before. So the purpose is to make sure that we are informed when we go to the poll. So I just want to say that information shared, this information shared is specific to the state of Arkansas, because if there's others watching from different states, I just want to let you know that you will have to find out from your state agency that handles voting. Some information shared will come from the Secretary of State of Arkansas website specifically. So I don't want you to get confused because, you know, it may not be this way in your state. You definitely need to go and research that information. If you're watching from another state, check for a comparable agency, a comparable agency within your state. Also, when I start giving out certain information as far as our clerk's office and things like that, that's going to be specific to Jefferson County. So you would want to go to the county in which you live in order to pick up on some of the information, okay? Okay, so this is our roadmap for tonight. Our agenda, we're going to look at important dates. We're going to look at your ballot. We're going to look at the process of voting absentee. And then we're going to look at ballot initiatives. So those are just, that's just our roadmap for tonight. Everybody can see my screen and hear me okay? Great. So let's look at the important dates. So early voting begins Monday, October the 19th. To early vote, you'll go to the Jefferson County Courthouse. So for instance, if you're in a different county, you need to find out where you go to early vote. On Monday, October the 19th through Friday, October the 23rd, you can vote from 8:00 a.m. to 6:00 p.m., early vote. On Saturday, October the 24th, 10:00 a.m. to 4:00 p.m. Monday, October the 26th through Friday, October the 30th, 8:00 a.m. to 6:00 p.m. On Saturday, October the 31st, you can vote from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And then on Monday, November the 2nd, which is the day before the election, you can still early vote at the courthouse. And you can vote 8:30 a.m. to 5:00 p.m. So the last day to request an absentee ballot, and we're going to go into absentee ballot shortly, but the last day to request one, because you have to fill out a form to request one, and one will be provided to you. But the last day to do that is October the 27th. I was actually on the phone with our county clerk on today, and it is recommended that you do not wait till the last minute, because your ballot actually goes, the request goes through a process and your actual ballot goes through a process. So whatever you do, if you think that you're going to absentee ballot, go ahead and request it tomorrow, please. And I'm going to show you the forms and everything that we need to do that. And then the general election, of course, is November the 3rd, where you can go to your precinct and actually vote. And I will, we're going to take a look at how you can find out which precinct. Okay, so now let's talk about how do you see your ballot? So many times we actually go to the poll not even knowing what our ballot looks like or who's on our ballot. So this site, this is our Secretary of State website, and you can actually go to www.voterview.org, and it will get you here in order to see your actual ballot. So I'm going to display my ballot for you. And if you want to, if you have another device or whatever, then you can go there and see your ballot. So I'm going to click on Voter View right here. And in order to see my ballot, everybody can still see my screen, okay, I hope. Okay, I'm going to type in my name, then my date of birth, and then I click look up. Okay, so this brings up my name, my address. Don't worry about that political party. I don't think they put anybody's political parties out there. This tells me my precinct number. And then this tells me my polling site. I actually, if I was going to go on November the 3rd to vote, I would go to Highland Church. And this is the address. So you can put your information in and get the same information. So early voting site, it shows the Jefferson County Courthouse, and it gives the dates that you're available to vote early. And it also gives the time. So the same information I just went over with you, it pulls into this website. Are you all able to see that okay? Okay. So now to see your actual ballot, this is key to make sure that you are informed before you go to vote. Know before you vote. So I'm going to click on my sample ballot. based on where I live in my precinct, they've already pulled together what my ballot would look like. So I encourage you to print this off and then fill it out, complete it. So when you go to the poll to vote, you just transfer your information. Make sense? Okay. So, and we also have to recognize that this general election is not just a presidential election. There are other key races that we're making decisions on, such as U.S. Senate, U.S. Representative, local initiatives, as well as statewide initiatives. So this is what my ballot looked like. Yours will definitely look different unless you stay in the same area that I do and you go to the same precinct to vote. Okay, so federal, this is for the President of the United States. And you can see that there are a list of candidates out there. So you just fill out your form and decide who you want to vote for. Okay. Then you have on mine, I have also U.S. Senate, U.S. Representative, and I have, you're going to see some people on the ballot where there's just one person in the race, and that's because they're unopposed. They basically won election. The only thing it requires is one vote, and I'm sure they're going to vote for themselves. So just know that if you see that. Okay. There's judicial. This you see City of Pine Bluff. Those are your local races. Judicial race. That's a seat for a circuit judge. And then we have all unopposed candidates not listed elsewhere on this ballot. So if you check that, you're just voting for those that are unopposed. And because I live in Watson Chapel School District, I have an issue related to probably a millage increase in my area. Yeah. So I'll need to research that and find out exactly what that is for. But what you don't want to do is go into the poll and have to stand there and try to read this and make a decision while you're standing there. So do you see the importance of having this information before you go? Know before you vote. Then we're going to do a little bit more information on the other initiatives that are on the ballot. So you'll be able to see those. Some of these initiatives, I can tell you, were challenged, and they have now been removed from the ballot. That happens sometimes, but you'll see that information when we get to that segment. Okay. So that is your ballot. So there's some races on my ballot that I don't know the candidates. I don't know how they stand on certain issues. Well, me, myself, I'm going to call them. And I'm going to ask those questions. If I'm going to vote for you, then I'm going to call you and ask you those questions. So how do I get their information? Good question. Okay. So when I'm on this page, back to the Secretary of State's page, and you can actually click on candidate search. and you can type in the name of the candidate. Can everybody still see my screen? Okay. You can actually type in the name of the candidate that you want to, even if it's somebody like, for instance, the circuit judges in Jefferson County that were running, you can type in their information. And to be partial, I'll type in both of their names so that you can see what I'm talking about. And then it pulls it up, that person's name. If I can hold my mouth right to get over here, okay. Then I click on it and I can see, and there's a telephone number. So if I want to know information, then I can call that person. And the other candidate in that race, telephone number. If I'm going to vote for you, then I want to know, how do you stand on certain issues? How have you, what experience do you have? So that's one avenue that you can use in order to get that information. But go out to the Secretary of State's website and just browse around, and you can find all kinds of information, even information on the, well, that's not exactly on the initiatives, but absentee voting. So just go out there and browse around. Okay. So change over. Okay, great. So definitely go out there, voterview.org, and look at your ballot, print it off before you actually go to the poll to vote. As a matter of fact, I will be taking mine with me when I go. Okay, so let's talk about absentee ballot. Of course, anybody who is able to and who desire to, in the wake of COVID, if you desire to go to the poll, you know, to vote or to early vote, be safe. And if that's your desire, go. Absentee voting, it was designated, it was not designated for COVID, but the governor enacted a resolution, and because of COVID. And basically, this is the main concept of it. The State Board of Election Commissioners find the qualified electors who conclude their attendance at the poll raises concerns to their health or health of others as a result of the COVID-19. This is what gives people the power to absentee vote. The State Board of Commissioners find that the qualified electors who conclude that they will be unable to attend the poll on election day due to illness, physical disability, or concerns regarding the dangers to their health or health of others as they pertain to contracting or transmitting an illness such as COVID-19. So this is what gives the leeway for people to be able to go to vote absentee ballot. Okay, so requesting an absentee ballot. There's certain steps that you have to do. And when I was talking to the clerk on today, she asked me to please stress, request your ballot now and get it, request your ballot now as soon as possible. And when you get it, complete it and return it as soon as possible. So you have to complete an application to request the absentee ballot. Have your ballot mailed to you, or you can pick it up. You can pick up your ballot from the county clerk's office at Jefferson County Courthouse. Now, remember, this is specific to Jefferson County. So if you live in another county, make sure you call your your county clerk to find out those procedures. Return your ballot to the Jefferson County Clerk as soon as possible, or your designated clerk. The ballot must belong to the person returning the ballot unless you have a designated bearer for someone else's ballot. So if I sign up as a designated bearer, I have to explain that on the request. If I do, then I can actually return the ballot for them. Otherwise, the person whose ballot it is, they have to bring it, they have to return it themselves, or you can mail it in. And here is the information that you can mail it to our Jefferson County County Clerk, Mrs. Chandra Taggart, and this is the information that you can send it to. Okay, so now I am going to stop sharing my screen again because I want to show you the actual request form. So this is the actual request form for the absentee ballot. And this is addressed to the county clerk. Now, remember, this is my county clerk because I live in Jefferson County. And you can actually go, if you live in another county, you can actually go to the VoterView website, to the Secretary of State's website, and download a copy. But you need to get this form in as soon as possible. And it's going to ask you, I request an absentee ballot because, and you have to check one. And it's suggested that if you're doing it because of concerns of COVID, you can check the first box, because remember, that was one of the stipulations in the resolution that the governor signed. Okay, most people, I reside within the county in which I am registered to vote. So you're going to put that, you're going to check that box. And then I request appropriate absentee ballot for the following elections. And you want to make sure that you select the general election. Okay. And moving on, I will receive my ballot by mail, and you have to enter your address that you want the ballot mailed to. You can come into the office of the clerk by the time the county's clerk's office regularly closes on the day before the election. You can get it, you know, by coming to the county clerk's office. You can get a form, but you can also have your ballot mailed to you. Okay, remember I talked about the designated bearer. That's a person or agent authorized to pick up your ballot and deliver information to you. Now, a person can only be an designated bearer for 2 people. So you can't pick everybody in the neighborhood that you're going to go and turn it in for, but you can only do it for only 2 people. And then this information at the bottom, make sure that you print or type your name, the name of the voter, signature of the voter, voting residence address of the voter, physical address on file in the county clerk's office. So whatever address that you have on file at the county when you register to vote, that's why it's important to change your addresses as you move. That's the address that will go in this slot. Your date of birth, and then city, state, and zip. And if you're going to have a bearer, then they have to sign it here. Okay, if you need to change your voting residence, please complete a voter registration application. So I'm going to ask that, since it's late in the game and you may need to change it, that you call the county clerk's office and ask them, you know, what exactly do I need to do if I have a different address? Okay. So now we're gonna go back. I apologize for all of this back and forth, but I had to figure out a way to get it to you. Okay. So also, when you sign your request form, that signature has to match what was on your original voter registration form. It has to match it. So when they receive your request for an absentee ballot, they're gonna match that information with what was on your original voter registration form. And you all, it's been 30 years, 30 plus years since I registered to vote. So just make sure that that information matches, because the clerk will examine that to make sure that it matches, and it's based on what you originally put on file with the clerk's office when you registered to vote. Okay. So receiving your ballot. Now I've showed you how to view your ballot. So when you receive it in the mail, your ballot can be mailed or you can pick it up at the courthouse. You will also receive a voter statement to be completed when you're voting absentee. And I'm going to show you that statement. But it must be, when you return it, you must have a copy of your ID. So I get my absentee ballot in the mail, I complete it, and then I have to make a copy of my driver's license, my state ID, and send it in with that ballot along with this voter statement. And then know that once upon receiving that information, the ballots are actually processed and counted by the election commission. So the absentee ballots are actually processed and counted by the election commission. And there will be another round of signature verifications when they receive it. I've seen on Facebook and had questions about how many stamps do I need to put on my ballot when I mail it back in. I could not confirm if it was 2 or more or exactly how many, but to err on the side of caution, I would use 2. That's just what I would do. I would use 2 when you're mailing your ballot back in. Okay, so now I'm gonna see, let me show you this statement. Okay, so this is the voter statement that is mailed back in with your absentee ballot. And basically you are attesting to this, that I reside at the address listed on my application. I have enclosed in the return envelope the following: my completed voter statement, this piece of paper, a copy of an identifying, let me see if I can make that bigger, of an identifying card or document for first-time voters who registered by mail. If I'm a newly registered voter of this county and this is the first time I'm voting, I'm enclosing a copy of my current and valid photo. For other voters, a copy of documentation or identification card by the United States. So whenever you're voting absentee, you have to provide that information. Now, then you have to, of course, sign off and all of that. This section in pink, voters may sign this statement if a copy of the photo ID cannot be provided. So if the ID cannot be provided, I'm going to say whatever you do, try to get a copy of that ID. Because what happens is if you do not provide it and you sign this portion at the bottom, your ballot can go in a provisional state, whereas it may or may not be counted. So there's no question if you go ahead and provide a copy of your driver's license or your ID. So that's the voter statement, which must be completed and mailed with your absentee ballot in order for your ballot to be counted. Okay, so I gave you that information, all of the information on processing your absentee ballot. Now, I'm going to show you, we're going to dive into some of the initiatives. There is the Jefferson County Cooperative Extension Office has a booklet. And normally during election time, I go by and I pick one up. And this is what the booklet looks like. And it has information in it regarding the initiatives that are on the ballot. It helps you to make that informed decision. And it's a nonpartisan organization that puts it out. Actually, is the University of Arkansas Division of Agriculture Research and Extension Office, and the University of Arkansas System Public Policy Center. And the website on my screen is the website that you can go to and get this same information to let you know about the initiatives that are on the ballot. So let's take a look at the website. So this is actually the website that you go to see that information. And I'm gonna type in ballot after this so it'll take me straight to it. You all can still see my screen, right? Okay, great. Okay, so 2020 Arkansas ballot issues. And you can actually download the same booklet that I had here. And it's probably taking it a few seconds because it is a document, yeah. So this is the same booklet that I just showed you. I was hoping I could. So here, you remember on our ballots, there were like 6 issues that were on the ballot. But some have been removed because they were challenged in court. And your ballot was probably printed prior to this removal because sometimes they go all the way to the wire. So your ballot was probably already printed. And so you will still see them on the ballot, but just know it's been removed from the ballot. So to look at the different issues that are on there, it gives you information and shows you which ones were removed. So issue number 1 deals with sales tax for state highway and bridges, county roads, city streets, bridges, and other surface transportation. So you want to go out to the website, and this may be smaller on your screen. Let me see if I can zoom this in some. Okay. Yep, hopefully that may be better. Okay, yeah. So you want to go out and take a look at these and see, because the popular name on there may not be everything that's included in the initiative. So you'll want to go out and take a look to see exactly what's in the initiative. And they also let you know, what does your vote mean? What does it mean if you're voting for it? What does it mean if you're voting against it? What is being proposed? And this will give you the ins and out on exactly what's being proposed for these particular initiatives. Also, it gives you what does supporters say? And it's not just one-sided, because it also gives you what does the opponent say about this issue. How's the existing 0.5% sales tax for roads currently being used? So it's a wealth of information that will give you the tool to make an educated decision before you go into the poll to vote. Let me see, what is the next one? Okay. That's more information on that. Okay, so issue number 2. Then at the end of each one, it gives you an option so that you can say how you're going to vote. But this will also be on your ballot if you print it, and you can make that decision. So when you go into the poll, you already know exactly how you're going to vote. Issue number 2, changing General Assembly term limits and allowing re-election upon a break in service. So this this issue actually deals with when I vote for somebody for my state and local representatives, my state and local, my state senators and state representatives. How long can they stay in office? And how long can they run again after there's a break in office? So just be mindful of that when you're voting, but it's going to give you the details that you need to know. And what does it mean when I vote for it? And what does it mean when I vote against it? Like I say, not telling you how to vote, but just giving you the tools so that you can make the decision when you have to vote on these issues. And I want to say that the last one is changing Arkansas Citizens Initiative process, votes required for legislative proposals and publication requirements. So you definitely want to go out and read, how do I get something on a ballot, is what this one is proposing, I believe. Yes. So voters are being asked to approve changes to Arkansas Citizens Initiative process. The number of votes required for a legislative ballot issue. So you know how you see people at different places when asking you to sign this petition to get this on the ballot or get that on the ballot. Then this particular initiative is one that they're looking at changing. So you need to know what are they trying to change about that? Do we need to require more? Are they asking to require more signatures? Or so you definitely want to go out and read up on that information. What does it mean to vote for it, and what does it mean to vote against it? What do the supporters say? What do the opponents of this actual initiative say? So. And then, like I said, some of them have already been removed from the ballot. The Arkansas Supreme Court disqualified this initiative from being on the ballot. You're going to see it on there, but just know, it says some voters may still see this issue on their ballot due to the timing, but any votes cast on this issue will not be counted. And so there were others that were removed because they were challenged. So you won't see those on your ballot either. There's another one, single ballot primary with top 4 candidates advancing to general election. You don't have to worry about that because the same information is there, that it's been struck from the ballot. You will more than likely still see it on there. I believe it was still on mine. And then that's the last one that has been removed from the ballot. So that is basically what you need to know, or the tools that you need when going to vote, and in order to make an educated decision when you go to vote.